So how did Islam reach China? And what was the attraction? And Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas radiyallahu ta'ala an, as we know, is the conqueror of Persia. He says, if this is your compassion for your brother and your awareness for your brother, I really want to know about the source of all this, the one that gave you this teaching. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulihil kareem, amma ba'd. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. قال الله تعالى في الفرقان الحميد اليوم أكملت لكم دينكم وأتممت عليكم نعمتي ورضيت لكم الإسلام دينا. صدق الله العظيم. My beautiful family, brothers and sisters and children, last week we were speaking about the third department of Islam, and that department is known as āmalāt. The translation is on the screen: dealings, transactions, and finance. And we made mention that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in a very short time of 23 years, left a constitution for mankind that will solve all problems till the day of judgment. And that in itself is a miracle. So in 23 years, he receives a divine book, and then he attaches with it his commentary, his beautiful words. And through the divine book and the commentary, people till the day of judgment will find guidance. It doesn't matter where we are and what kind of system we are in, we will find a solution to it. And that's why we ended last week by speaking about the incident of Hazrat Bilal radiyallahu ta'ala an, that has been made mention in Bukhari, that he gave dates to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And you would remember the commentary that was attached to that. We move on and speak about āmalāt, the way we need to deal. As I said, that our program is going to be a bit different. Normally we speak about taqwa, we speak about prayers, we speak about zakat, and these things have been spoken about and need to be spoken of in time to come. But there are different dimensions to our beautiful religion that have not been spoken of equally. So we're trying to give that equal opportunity to the different departments. And that's why we made mention that āmalāt, dealings and transactions, and our finance is very, very important, and Islam has solutions to it, even though that the entire system in the world is gripped by riba. We know that. Everything is gripped, it is linked to riba, but still there is windows inside this very illegal system, forbidden system I can say, where we will find a path that we can live a pure life. Now, when we speak about dealings, if we look at China right now, there are different numbers that I came across. They say between 17 to 25 million Muslims in China. 17 to 25 million. 17 to about 25 million Muslims in China. That's a lot of Muslims. So how did Islam reach China? And what was the attraction that the Chinese people found in Islam? Was it the Muslims praying? Was it the Muslims performing Hajj? Was it the lengthy beards? Was it the attire? No. And that's why I would like you to read this, that the understanding by Muslim Chinese is that the first time Islam arrived in China was through Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas. And Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas radiyallahu ta'ala an, as we know, is the conqueror of Persia. He's the conqueror of Persia. And Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas is the maternal uncle of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he's one of the early people that accepted Islam. And on the conquest of Ctesiphon, known as Fatah Madain, in the Battle of Qadisiyah, when Persia dropped, Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas was the general at that time. As we know that Khalid bin Walid had moved to the Byzantine Empire by that time. Now when Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas radiyallahu ta'ala an came to China, this was about, you can say, 650 CE. So we can say maybe about 50 years after migration, about 50 years, after migration, only about 20 years. 20 years after migration, Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas, he arrives in China. And the way that he carried himself and the way that he dealt with the people. Now keep in mind, he was very pious. He was very pious. He's a Sahabi. He's an early Sahabi. He's a general of an army. Persia has fallen in his leadership. He takes a group of people to China. He's a pious person. I want you to remember that. He has a beard. Most probably he's wearing a topi. He's wearing a robe like us. But that did not deter those people for even thinking about who are these people. The reason behind it is it was the dealing of Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas. It was the dealing of the Sahaba. And it was the diplomatic mannerism of Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas. And it was the way that he used to deal with them in business that won the hearts of these people. And we see now, right now, in 2025, they say statistically about 25 million Muslims in China. And it comes from a group of people that went into China with Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas. And then of course there were many others that contributed to this. But their financial transactions were so pure and so good that the people could not believe it. Because we know that Islam, and I've said this before, department number 2, Salah, Ibadat. How do we know that our Ibadat is in place? We need to see how we are behaving in department number 3, 4 and 5. If we are failing in department number 3, 4 and 5, that means that there's weakness in our prayer. There's weakness in department number 2. Prayer is to be judged how we live outside prayer. I want you to remember that. Prayer that we just prayed, how do we know the quality of that prayer? It is how we are living life outside prayer. If our dealings and transactions are crooked and our behavior is incorrect, then that means our prayer is not good enough. And I was so amazed. Think about this. Khalid bin Walid, who we believe and indeed was one of the greatest generals that the human race has seen, Khalid bin Walid, he knew only a few verses of the Quran because he became a Muslim at the conquest of Mecca. He was not a Hafiz of the Quran. There were many verses he did not know of. But when he used to pray with the little knowledge that he had of the Quran, it was so perfect that outside the prayer, you could see a manifestation of the spirituality that he had in the prayer. So Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas radiyallahu ta'ala an goes there and basically wins the hearts of the people just through his transactions, just through his dealings. And if we go further, and I would like you to read this as well, some people have been to China. They've gone there for business nowadays. They say it's one of the hubs of business. But we need to really peel the layers and return back to where it all started from. It is us, it is the Muslims that gave them principles and laws of how to do trade. And this is something so amazing. The Song dynasty, it comes after the Tang dynasty. So the Tang dynasty starts from the time of Hijrah, but the Song dynasty is in the time of the Abbasid period. And the Abbasid period is about 200-300 years, let's say, after Prophet Muhammad ﷺ left this world. Because the business in the time of Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas and the Muslims were building upon it, and they didn't become crooked. How many times we've seen this? A business opens up and it is perfect. And after a few years, it goes on the decline. How many restaurants we have seen like this? They say the first year the food is perfect. Second year it is not so perfect. And third year you can't classify it as food. And it dropped because people don't put in the same effort. For the people, the Chinese people, the emperor to invite the Muslims and 5,300 people from Bukhara, Central Asia, Uzbekistan right now, to invite them from there, that means that the Muslims were keeping the ethics of business so pure for about 200-300 years. That he invites 5,300 people to do business there. And they come there and they do business. And I would like you to read the last part. Intermarriage between Muslim settlers and Chinese contributed to deeper culture integration and gradual acceptance of conversion of Chinese citizens into Islam. Don't we have the same opportunity here? Many of our brothers, they get married for the wrong reasons. Many sisters, converts, many Christian sisters, Ahle Kitab, they come and they say, this person used me to get PR. This is no joke. This is sad. They used to intermarriage between Muslim settlers and Chinese. They must treat them like queens, that they were ready to give their daughters. It has become so bad in our community. This is our dealings. It has become so bad that if a Muslim person, male or a female, Muslim, wants to get married with somebody that is a citizen of this country, Muslim, they will first ask, what is the status? And I can't blame them. They will say, is he a PR? Because if he's not a PR or if she's not a PR, I'm not going to marry that person. Because we have done something terrible. Many, many years ago, there was a person here, can't mention his name. He marries a non-Muslim Christian girl. And I used to tell him, please give dawah to this girl. Please give dawah to this girl. He never used to give a dawah. One day after 2-3 years, he comes and he says, I am fed up with this marriage. And Imam Sahib, I want to go for divorce. And I said, tell me the truth, what's happened? He said, I got my PR. That's it. He married this girl just for PR. Now you tell me that that girl that has been left without a husband and the husband has used her, do you think any part of Islam is going to be appealing to her? So for the Chinese people to start business in the time of Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas, this is amazing. And then after so many years, 250 years later on, the Chinese emperor to invite 5,300 Muslims for trade into China and then them getting married gives us an understanding how Islam spread. It was their dealings. It was their behavior. My young children, because it's school holidays, your behavior, your mannerism, the way you carry yourself is very, very important. No one is seeing your prayer. No one is seeing your tahajjud. No one is seeing your tilawat of the Quran. What they are seeing is you when you walk outside. What are they seeing? You when you do a dealing with them. And if we are crooked in our dealings, Islam will not spread. So this is the story of Islam spreading in China. Now, As there are many, many children today, I'm going to make mention of one or two stories to attach to this pertaining to dealing, so we know how important it is to deal. If we have time, then we will speak about this, because this is another very important aspect of our faith. Transactions. To keep your transactions pure, you need to make a sacrifice. Remember that. Because in crookedness, you see more. And doing the right thing, you see less. Remember that. In crookedness, you see more. And in doing the right thing, you see less. But that's where our faith should support us and be so strong enough to encourage us to do the right thing, even if it seems like we are going to acquire little, because in that little there's going to be so much that is much greater than that which comes through the wrong channel that is much more. Remember that. It's very, very important. So I'm going to make mention of Tarikh-e-Hind. It is a book about Hind, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, pre-partition. So there's no Bangladesh, there's no Pakistan, it's India, Hind. And in that book they make mention, this is all about dealings. What is the impact of dealings upon people? People need to see this. This is what Islam is all about. It is perfection in the 5 departments. This is the 3rd department, and that is āmalāt, dealings. So there was a Muslim person, and this happens very often in our countries in the subcontinent. He claimed that this piece of land, let's say this is a piece of land, this land belongs to me. He said, this land belongs to me. In the same area, a Hindu person, he comes and says, this land belongs to me too. So now there's a dispute. Muslim says, this land belongs to me. The Hindu says, this same land belongs to me. Now the people that were in control of the country were the British. So the judge in the court is a British person. So now this case is going to go to the judge. Muslim claims that the land belongs to him, and the Hindu claims that the same land belongs to him. But to make things interesting, both pull out the religious card. Both pull out the religious card. The Muslim says that if the judge gives the ruling in my favor, I will make a masjid here. And the Hindu guy says that if the judge gives ruling in my favor, I'll make a temple here. Let me stop here. We should not always support Muslims because he's a Muslim. Many a times we just stand up, we rally behind a Muslim, even if he's a drug dealer, even if he's selling drugs. We will follow him because he's a Muslim. No, we follow haqq. We follow the truth. Even if he's a non-Muslim, we will follow the truth. We'll go against our brother. Try to understand this. This is very, very important. So now what happens is, the Muslim pulls out this religious card and he says that I'll make a masjid here. The Hindu pulls out his religious card and he says I'll make a temple here. Now this is now an issue of 2 religions. All the Muslims are supporting this one Muslim. All the Hindus are supporting this one Hindu. Now this goes to the court. Before 2 people, now it's 2 religions. Now the British judge, he's stuck in the middle. What kind of decision is he going to make? If he says, all right, this belongs to the Muslim, there is going to be a civil war. If he says this belongs to the Hindu, it's a civil war. So he says, look, is there any way that we can solve this problem? Is there any way that we can solve this problem? This is dealings now. So one Hindu representative, he says yes. There's a Mufti who is a Mufti of the Muslims. Whatever he says, we will agree to it. The Hindu says, there's a Mufti. He's a Mufti of Islam. Whatever he says, we will agree to it. Now, the Muslims, they jump it up and down. Because it's going to be a Mufti. Mufti will never say it's a Hindu land because he doesn't want a temple to be made there, so they think they've won. So one brother is saying, I'm giving 10 bricks. The other one saying, I'm giving 20 bricks. I'm going to give the fans. I'm going to give the ceiling. I'm going to give the chandelier. They've started all that stuff. So the judge says to both parties, all right, are you happy with that mufti to come on this day to give the ruling? He said, yes. So the Hindus agree, the Muslims, of course, they agree. So then the judge says, all right, on this day, call the mufti, let Mufti Sahib make the ruling. Mufti's name was Mufti Ilahi Bakhsh, rahimahullah. So he comes, old man with a stick. He knows that area. He knows whose land this is. Now this land belonged to the Hindu, not to the Muslim. Muslim was lying. So he arrives there. The judge says, you know why you have been invited? You have been invited because of the Hindus. He says, yes, I know. He says, you know how sensitive this issue is? He says, I know how sensitive this issue is. He said, let me just remind you, if you say that this belongs to the Muslims, they're going to make a mosque here and the Hindus are going to fight. And if you say this belongs to the Hindu, then the Muslims are going to fight because he's going to make a temple there. Mufti Ilahi Bakhsh said, look, you called me for one thing, to tell you the truth. Who is the owner of this land? I am telling you this land belongs to the Hindu. That's it. That's why you've invited me. You haven't asked me who's going to make a mosque, who's making a temple here. That's not my issue. My issue is, who is the owner of this piece of land? The owner of this piece of land is the Hindu. The Muslims go, what the? How could he do this? How could he do this? Didn't the Prophet of Allah say, dealings, if my own daughter stole, what would I do? This is dealings. If my own daughter, Fatima, and he mentioned Fatima, because the lady that stole, her name was Fatima as well. So he said, if my own daughter Fatima, and he loved Fatima more than any other daughter, may it be Zainab, Ruqayya, Kulsum, Fatima, he loved Fatima the most. He said, if my own daughter, this is justice, this is dealings, so clear, so pure, that if my own daughter, she was to commit theft, I will cut her hands. So now the judge, Muslims can't say anything. Hindus are very, very happy. Before even the judge could say anything, the word has gone out, the land belongs to the Hindu. So they're jumping up and down now. Muslims can't believe what's going on outside. So now the judge, he writes something down. What an intelligent judge. And I want you to remember these words. We're in this country. This is our country. We have come in this country as Muslims. We want Islam to be a religion that people find attractive. And they will find religion to be attractive because you are attractive. If you are not attractive, the religion won't be attractive. In your dressing, in your looks, in your behavior, the way you walk, the way you talk, everything, every single second we are an ambassador of Islam. So the judge writes something so amazing. And basically he writes, he says, today the Muslims lost the case, but Islam won. I want you to remember those words. Today Muslims lost the case, but Islam won. Because Islam is for haqq. Islam is for the truth. When this statement was read outside, many Hindus accepted Islam. They didn't see the prayer. They didn't see the zakats. They didn't see our taraweehs. They got impressed by dealings. I asked myself, do I have that kind of dealing that a group of people invite us, 5,300 Muslims from Australia, to another country so we can show them how to do dealings? We will tell them how to do crookedness. Wherever we have gone, people have become more intelligent and they've closed the loopholes. Isn't that true? Wherever we go, we make them intelligent. They say, oh, this is another way of crookedness. Subhanallah. We never knew this, that a person can do crookedness like this. They close that hole. Ajib. And then we say, where is the nusrat of Allah? Where is the madad of Allah? This is one story. Second story. We're talking about dealings. We're just talking about dealings. For dealings, you need to make sacrifice. But keep in mind, in that sacrifice always, even if you receive less, there's going to be a lot that you will extract from that less. Remember this. Remember this. The less, don't worry about the number. In that you will find a lot of barakat, blessings, and you will extract much more. And you will win people's hearts. When Islam was spreading, and it was spreading for Muslims being perfect in 5 departments, not only worship, but 5 departments. Third, āmalāt, then mu'asharat, and then akhlaqiyat. A person was sent as a spy to Baghdad, because Baghdad used to be considered the city of knowledge. And it was like nowadays the London, the New York, it was the main city. Everyone wanted to go there, everyone wanted the citizenship of there. So one person, he goes to Baghdad to find out what is the secret behind Muslims ascending. Muslims are ascending. They are succeeding. They're succeeding in every department. So he arrives there, and in those days there were hotels or motels or whatever. So he's hungry. He goes and sits down. Sits in this restaurant. He's a foreigner. He has come from Rome. He's come from Rome to see what's going on. So he's come from Europe into Baghdad. Rome, Baghdad. Huh? So he's gone there. He's eating, and whilst he's eating, somebody's staring at him. Staring at him like this. So if you're in a foreign country and somebody starts staring at you, you go, oh, I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble. He's staring, he's eating, he's a bit scared, what's going to happen? He breaks eye contact, he still eats, and now he looks and that person is not there. He says, oh, alhamdulillah, he's gone. Now this person who's eating is a Christian. He goes to the counter after eating and he says, look, how much? He said, it's been paid for. He said, it's been paid for by who? He said, you know that person was sitting on that table? And he said, the one that was staring at me? He said, yeah. He said, he paid for you. He said, uh-oh. Why did he pay? Why did he pay? But anyway, he was surprised. All right, now, this was his first experience in a Muslim country. Try to understand this. This is his experience in a Muslim country. And I want you to remember these words. I put a lot of thought to this talk because it's only half an hour, 40 minutes. I want us to wake up. It's a Muslim country. He's come from a non-Muslim country. He comes into a Muslim country. And this is his first experience that somebody has paid for him who doesn't know him. Oh, amazing. All right. He goes to a shop. There's a street. There's shops on the right. There's shops on the left. They are identical shops. And I found this in Saudi Arabia. You go to in any mall, it's the same shops. They don't want to improve, I think. You go in this shop, it's the same stuff. You go in that shop, it's the same stuff. True? It's attar, it's attar. It's attar. It's jubbas, it's jubbas, it's jubbas. They don't change. So it seems like this is something. So, and I'm talking about in Mecca. Maybe in Jeddah, Riyadh, it's very different. It would be different. But I'm talking about in the clock tower and all that. It's all the same shops. So there's a street, there's shops on this side, there's shops on this side, and they're pretty identical. So he goes to one shop and he wants to buy something. And he says, how much is this? You like something? Let's say it's a mobile. In those days, he said, I like this. How much is it? He says, look, can I tell you something? He says, what? He says, look, this is a good mobile. It's not a bad mobile. But you know that shop across the road? It has identical mobile. I would like that you buy from that shop. He goes, how can a shopkeeper direct another person to another shop? What a bad businessman. What a bad businessman. He should just sell the mobile. He's telling me there's an identical mobile of the same price in the other shop, go there. So he goes there, he sees that there's a mobile that is identical and he buys it. But this is playing with his mind now. He's saying, why? So this is a non-Muslim coming into a Muslim country. What's his first experience? Somebody has fed him. And I'm going to speak about this in a few moments, that fed part. Second, a shopkeeper is telling him, go there, go there and buy this from there. Don't buy from me. So he buys, he comes out and he goes to the first shopkeeper. He goes to the first shopkeeper and he says, brother, I can't understand. You're a shopkeeper, he's a shopkeeper. You're both here to make money. Why did you guide me to that shop? He says, that shopkeeper is my brother. We're Muslims, we're brothers. He's my brother. I know how many customers I have received today, and I can see how many customers he's received today. I have a family and he has a family. I have had enough customers today to put food on the table for my family. My brother is struggling today. He does not have enough customers. I think he's going to go back home empty-handed. So that's why I guided you that way. So you can buy and he can sell and he can have some profits and he can take food back home. Wow. He said, who teaches you all this? I said, who teaches you this kind of dealing? Where do you get this from? He says, we get this from Islam. Islam teaches us this. He came to find out why Islam is spreading. This is what Islam teaches us. It's our dealings are like this. We care for one another. We care for one another. He says, if this is your compassion for your brother and your awareness for your brother, I really want to know about the source of all this, the one that gave you this teaching. Teach me about Prophet Muhammad. And they say this person accepted Islam. He came as a spy and he left as a Muslim. It was about dealings. Every faith has prayers. Remember that. I've said this before. I have found in mandars, in temples, their prayer may be longer than our prayer. You'll see more khushu and khuzu in them, whatever they're doing. I've been to the church and I've seen that their prayer sometimes it's a very long prayer. You know, when I said I want to come back to that feeding part, and this is something that we're going to do. We started the 1,000 and now the money's rolling in every second month. Now we're having 100, so we're going to have about $6,000-7,000. One of the first projects we're going to start to do in Holland Park is feeding. Let me draw your attention. We are all Australians. This is our home. Pakistan is not our home. We're living here now. Bangladesh is not home. India is not home. If we're going to live in this country, we're a citizen, this is our home now. We bought Salvation Army 2008. Imran, 2008 was it? 2010. Salvation Army 2010, we bought this. I'm sitting in the mosque, I can swear on this. For a couple of weeks, every day, every second day, somebody's knocking on my door. They know they call me the father and the priest. So every day, every second day, somebody's knocking on my door. Tuk, 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 tuk. I open the door. Hello, you're the priest, you're the father. Yes, I said yes. They said, you've taken over the Salvation Army? I said, yes. We bought the Salvation Army. Salvation Army used to feed us and clothe us. Will you do that? Man, I put my head down. They said that Salvation Army feeds us and clothes us, takes care of us, shelters us. Will you do that? I said, Inshallah. Inshallah. That Inshallah has never manifested. That Inshallah has never. What we've been here in this community since 1908, we brag about it. What have we done? What is our impact upon the community? So dealings are very, very important. You're going to win hearts by dealings. So I gave you two stories. And I want you to remember these two stories in terms of dealings, how we need to deal with people. Be honest, be upright. This is what's going to win the hearts of people. We need to show something. Nowadays, the non-Muslims in their dealings, they are much better than us. So we need to even be better than that. We need to even be better than that. The only people that we are attracting towards Islam are those people that are trying to find inner peace. That's the people that we are attracting right now. Majority, they are trying to find inner peace. So this beautiful religion speaks about the dealings. Our dealings should be perfect. Now, let's go to this part. See the dealings of our predecessors. I pulled this out from the story in English, so I wanted, of course it's in Arabic books, but I pulled it out. Now, I want you to really understand the mindset of one of the greatest people. You know, when you go on Google, they say Umar, second Caliph of Islam, Umar. But when they say Alexander, they say the great Alexander, Julius Caesar. Hazrat Umar's empire was greater than Julius Caesar. It was greater than Alexander. But they only call him Umar. I want you to really understand that how great this person was, to understand this, our dealings. Persia drops. Ctesiphon, Fatah Madain, collapse, Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas, we win. We win Persia. All right. I want you to look at this verse to understand this story. It may take 5 minutes, but it's very important. Then we have many more stories coming week regarding dealings. This is the first verse of the 10th juz, and it's the 41st verse of the 8th surah known as Surah Anfal. And it speaks about booty. Booty means when there's a battle, whatever is left over, the enemies leave. What do we do with that what is left over? So Allah Almighty says, وَاعْلَمُوا أَنَّمَا غَنِمْتُمْ مِنْ شَيْءٍ فَأَنَّ لِلَّهِ خُمُسَهُ وَلِلرَّسُولِ. And know that whatever of war booty that you may gain, verily 1/5 of it is assigned to Allah. If it's $100,000, $20,000 for Prophet Muhammad assigned, he will do what he needs to do with the 20,000. And to the messenger, and to the near relatives, and the orphans, and the masakeen, and the wayfarer, if you have believed in Allah and in that which we sent down to our slave on the day of criterion. Basically, the meaning of this is that the booty will be distributed. 1/5 will be given to the Prophet, the rest will be given to the soldiers. Done? The Prophet of Allah will give it to the poor people, to the yatama, to the masakeen. Got it? This is a clear verse in the Quran. Clear verse in the Quran. Now, Persia drops. It's the time of Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala. Fatah Madain, we take over Persia. One of the greatest empires, competing with the Byzantines for so many years, so many battles. But it drops now completely. In the time of Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala, desert people take over. Desert people take over. There's so much booty. What do we do with the booty now? The Quran says, verse number 41, in the time of the Prophet of Allah, you tell me, the battle of Badr, did it take place outside the Arab Peninsula or inside the Arab Peninsula? Inside. The battle of Uhud took place inside the Arab Peninsula or outside the Arab Peninsula? Salah Hudaybiyah, the truce of Hudaybiyah, Jang-e-Khandak, the battle of the Confederates, conquest of Makkah, Tabuk, all these was inside the Arab Peninsula. The Prophet of Allah never in his life exited Hijaz. Never went to the Romans, never went to the Persians, never in his life. In the time of Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq, 2.5 years, they were fighting inside. It was consolidation time of Islam because so many people were leaving Islam. True? Hazrat Umar comes and Persia drops. As the Prophet of Allah said, إِذَا هَلَكَ كِسْرَى فَلَا كِسْرَى بَعْدَ. When Kisra will be destroyed by Allah Almighty through the hands of Umar and the armies, there will be no Kisra till the day of judgment. That glory that the Persian Empire has seen will never be seen again because the way they treated the letter of Prophet Muhammad. Never again. The Romans stood for some time. huh? But not Persians. Now a big debate starts. This is a verse of the Quran. This is the mindset of Sahaba. Can I say without any doubt that the iman of all the Muslims nowadays can't compete with Umar? Can I say that confidently? Yeah? His iman would be greater than all our imans. The rank that he has is greater than the rank of all of us put together. All right. There's a massive debate. And in this debate, there are great Sahaba. One is Ashra Mubashra, Abdurrahman ibn Auf. Allahu Akbar. Abdurrahman ibn Auf is the one that selected the third Khalif. Hazrat Usman Ghani. When we speak about the Khulafa Rashidun, I will make mention of it. Hazrat Usman Ghani, Abdurrahman ibn Auf is Ashra Mubashara. He got the glad tidings in the life of the Prophet of Allah. He says, and Hazrat Bilal, who was always with the Prophet of Allah, they say to Hazrat Umar that all this booty, movable and non-movable items, have to be distributed amongst the soldiers. Not only gold and silver, but even the land has to be distributed. Because this is what the Quran says. This is what happened in the life of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now look at the dealings of Hazrat Umar. Hazrat Umar said no. He said no. He said movable items will be distributed. Gold, silver will be distributed according to this verse. But non-movable items will not be distributed. They will remain with the government. They will remain with the government. He went clearly against the Quran. Or let me rephrase. He went clearly against verse number 41. But Hazrat Umar was Hazrat Umar. He had to have a daleel. His daleel was this verse. This verse. Surah Al-Hashr. Surah number 59. Verse number 7. What does Allah Almighty say? Ma afa Allahu ala rasulihi min ahli al-qura. What Allah gave as booty to His messenger from the people of the townships. It is for Allah, His messenger, the kindred, the orphans, the poor, and the wayfarer, in order, this is it, in order that it may not become a fortune used by the rich among you. So there is a distribution of wealth that no one becomes too wealthy. And if this land is distributed amongst the soldiers, what is going to happen? Look at part 2. The future generations of Muslims will have no share in the conquered lands. Number 2, it will lead to economic inequality and feudalism. The local non-Muslim population would be dispossessed, disrupting stability and agriculture productivity. So Umar said, the land will not be distributed. He went clearly against verse number 41 because he understood the maqasid of Sharia from verse number 7 of Surah Al-Hashr. The land will not be distributed like movable booty. It will remain in the hands of the local population, and the Muslims will take tax, a form of land tax, from them. This revenue will be used for the welfare of the Muslim community, including allowances for soldiers, poor Muslim widows and orphans. Now these are all the references. Look at that. Now I'd like you to look at the bottom part. It reflects Umar's foresight. This is something we're missing on. हम उर्दू में कहते लकीर के फकीर. लकीर के फकीर. We take everything literally. We don't understand the hikmah, the wisdom, the maqasid behind it. It reflects Umar's foresight, justice, and concern for future generations and non-Muslim subjects living under Muslim rule. For that reason, he gave a ruling that was never given by the Prophet of Allah, and that ruling stands till today, and no one disagrees with it. This is all dealings. And if we speak about this, and I would like you to study, when you study this one law of Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala, it became the means of so many people accepting Islam. That what a fair religion. What a beautiful religion. And those people that give the kharaj, the tax, the non-Muslims, they do not have to fight as soldiers. And it is the duty of the Muslims, because they take in tax, to protect them. If the Muslims leave that town and they can't protect them anymore, they have to return back the taxes. This is the dealings of Islam. We've run out of time, we're over time, and I need to make one announcement or two announcements. Inshallah, are you enjoying this? Very important, so you understand what Islam, why did this religion spread throughout the world? It was not only ibadat. There were many other factors that we are going to try to inculcate in our life. All right.